So here we are, it's Witchcrafting Live, and the intent for this live is to connect with people who are interested in witchcraft, the occult, and the paranormal, and to provide support and advice and guidance for people that might have questions, are new to the craft, and are looking for a safe space. I'm joined tonight by my student, Jolene. Jolene, thank you for being on the show with me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited.
Me too. It's
Yay!
super good to be here.
Yes, excellent. So 2 months ago, Jolene had a friend who passed, and it was quite sudden and it was quite unexpected. And as she was kind of coming to terms with this new reality and dealing with some of that grief, we were talking about it, and I just sort of offered, hey, do you want to connect with your friend? We could do a spirit session. I can show you how that works for me, and we can, kind of see what happens. And we didn't expect the energy that was going to come through. No, it was completely unexpected.
It was completely unexpected because when you, I suppose I could hold that.
You can hold that.
So, this was the first time that I've actually really been driven to talk to someone after they've passed. I had some sort of loose ends that were really meaningful to me that I wanted to tie up with her. And when Briana offered this, I took it thinking, oh, it's going to be awesome. Like, I'm going to be able to talk to her. She's going to hear me. It's going to be really validating. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And honestly, it was a beautiful thing. It really was, because it did give me the closure that I needed in the end. But it was not an expected outcome, if that makes sense.
Totally. So I'm coming into this thinking that here's my student. I want to do a demonstration, show you how this works, help you process with your grief and connect with this spirit, not knowing that the relationship from your perspective and the relationship from the perspective of the person who had recently crossed over were maybe two very, very different things. And I was in a position where the spirit starts coming through, and I know it's the right spirit because you and your friend were like, that's totally her.
Yeah.
That's totally her. That's totally her attitude. That's totally how she would be.
Yeah.
Right?
It totally was.
And she was kind of rude.
It was. Yeah.
She was not okay.
That is how I knew that it was totally her. Sorry. That's how I knew it was totally her, because you go into a session like that. I don't know. You think you expect the best, maybe. You think the best. Like, it's going to be this loving, warm energy that's going to set everything right in your soul. And that's not how it came. She came across very much like, what the hell are you bothering me for?
Uh-oh.
More technical difficulties. I'll just speak really loudly while we're trying to fix this issue. So basically what ended up happening was the emotion that I thought was going to come through from her was not at all. It was more like, why are you bothering me? This is effed up. I don't want to talk to you.
Dude, I was like...
And I could tell Briana was awkward.
Okay. Oh, totally awkward.
Briana was awkward AF, and I could tell because you kept turning kind of like this.
Yeah, I was like, really? Like, is that? I was like, yeah, it was really, really awkward, and I felt really bad because I'm like, so anyway, so here we are. We're in the session. I'm in the middle of, like, there's this spirit over here that's, like, clearly not happy about having been summoned and clearly didn't want to be there. Clearly thought it would, like, the whole thing was not okay. And and I'm trying to be like sensitive.
Yes.
So what kind of ended up happening was we just kind of got through it, right? Like you asked some questions.
There were tears.
There were some
on
tears.
my part.
Because I don't think you really got the answer you really were looking for.
No, of course I didn't.
You know, there was this sort of like, I don't really, like, why are we talking about this? Kind of like, is this really what you summoned me for?
Yes, she was absolutely. So I was in tears, you know, because I mean, yeah, she was my friend, but she was very rude.
Yeah, very rude.
And not at all concerned with what I wanted closure on. Not at all concerned.
Yeah, not at all. And so we've had multiple conversations about this since then. And part of like when people ask me for like demonstrations of what can you do, I think of situations like this where I'm like, there's been a number of times where we've tried to contact a spirit, or I've tried to do a reading for somebody and something negative has come up, and because I know I've unintentionally hurt people's feelings with just even exposing people's secrets or things they weren't ready to learn or hear, I try to be very sensitive to the whole everything about it. And you know, so it was really kind of shocking for me. It's like, I don't think you guys are friends the way you thought maybe you were friends. And
that's what I learned.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. Because I got my closure one way or another, and that was the way that I got my closure. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I accept it. Now that I know where she was coming from, I mean...
Right.
Yeah.
So,
it's not the easiest when you find out after death that someone meant more to you than
you did to
them.
Yeah, that was rough. And I felt really bad. I was like, I'm kind of in the middle and I'm trying to like relay this message, and like, so
I felt bad for you. Like, in retrospect, I definitely feel for you, because I wouldn't want to be like, these bitches want to talk to me? What?
Right? Yeah, that was totally the energy, to be honest. And so, talking about intention setting, if we're going to be talking to the spirits and opening ourselves up to these things, we have to be prepared for the unexpected, right? So I do my best to be very, very intentional with how and why I engage in these things, you know? So oftentimes, like, if people are looking for a tarot reading or looking for some kind of spirit session, I'm not into gallery style stuff, because I'm like, I don't know what's going to come up. And if something happens that you end up, I learned something about you or your relationship that makes people uncomfortable, I don't need the whole room knowing that, you know, like
stuff comes out that you
stuff comes out and you're like, I hope you were ready for everyone to know that, because I didn't know that was coming. I had an experience one time where when I was younger and I was starting to tell people about what my gifts were, like one of the things I can do is I'm something of a medical intuitive, so I can see where people's issues are in their bodies. And I had somebody who was really excited about this. It's like, I want you to read me. What do you see? Blah, 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 blah. And we were in this sort of little party situation. And she's like, well, you know, what do you see on this person? And what do you see on that person? And one of the people in the party was like, I'm not about this. I don't like this. I don't want you to read me. And I was like, she doesn't want me to read her. And I got kind of like goaded into it. And I was like, well, I'm picking up X, Y, and Z. And she's like, no, that's not right. That's not correct. That you're totally wrong. You're wrong. And, well, as I later got to know this lady and learned some stuff about her personally, she actually had an injury that was exactly where I said it was. And she was embarrassed about it and shameful about it and didn't want everyone to know that she had this issue with her body. And in that moment I felt terrible. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't, like, yeah, I exposed your secret, and you didn't want that, and you weren't ready for that, and who am I to do that to you, you know? So that really set the tone for me for, like, when it comes to even talking about what I can do or what I can see, like, I'm very, very private about it. And I'm like, if we're one-on-one and it's private and we can have a conversation, it's fine. But if it's like in a group setting, like, I'm not, if there's multiple people involved, like, I'm not about that. And then
How long ago was the situation with the injuries?
For that lady, that reading that I did on her was like 15 years ago.
Okay.
You know, so that was,
because I was going to say I could never picture you doing something like that.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was almost 20 years ago now when that happened. So I was like 26, 27.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Because I could picture you now just being like, what?
Yeah, no. When I was younger, I didn't know how to say no. No, I'm like, everybody's blocked! No! It's my favorite word! No! And the last thing that I want to say about intention when it comes to diving into things like the paranormal and the spirit world and your mediumship abilities. So I myself I grew up around psychics and mediums, and I grew up around psychics and mediums, and it was always these middle-aged ladies who wanted to come up to me and be like, oh, I'm just gonna scan your aura and tell you all about yourself. And I always felt really, really violated by this, and I was too young to know what boundaries were or how to express that I felt violated or tell them that that was inappropriate. So I'm basically at this point in my life where I'm like I don't have my abilities running, like I don't do anything or look for anything or see anything unless I've been asked specifically. And this goes for things like ritual as well, because I was on a investigation over at a Masonic lodge, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's coming soon. We have a little spoof video of this particular investigation. And I was actually interviewed on the radio by one of the folks who was on this investigation with me. And what happened was everybody started getting sick and like nauseous, dizzy. A bunch of people left. I ended up getting a headache, and then I got what I call the spirit shakes. And I'm like, it's like I'm shivering, like it's like 30 below, and I'm like shaking uncontrollably. And I had gone to this event just with the intention of observing. Like, they said it was a safe place. They had investigated there before, so that it shouldn't be anything weird. So I just kind of wanted to see how these people ran this investigation. So my thing about this Masonic lodge is, again, I went in just thinking I'm going to observe, I'm just going to check it out. I did come prepared with a few things in case I needed to do a serious banishing, but I was affected so deeply. Like, I had the spirit shakes for like 20 minutes, and the host had to was like sitting with me waiting for it to pass. And I had this moment where I'm like, am I going to do a ritual? Am I going to do a banishing? Am I going to do a healing? No matter how I sliced it, I needed a minute to regroup and shield myself and try to, figure out like what was happening, what was wrong, like, and what was I going to do? Because I almost never jump to conclusions. I never go in guns blazing. I always want to take a minute. What are you doing?
Should I move this?
No, you can leave that there because I need to prop this on something. I almost never go in guns blazing anywhere. Like, I always want to take my time to thoroughly think it through, thoroughly explore what's going on, and come up with some kind of game plan. I never go into anything just cold. And I feel like I maybe did that with you because I felt a little too comfortable and a little too safe, and I feel like I should have known better.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? So if you're gonna engage in this stuff, expect that stuff can and will go wrong, and you should just be prepared for that.
Can I make a little?
Yeah, please do.
A little point. What
Yeah,
you said
come on.
about maintaining a beginner's mindset has really stuck with me, because it just goes to show that even when you're super experienced, when you can have a lifetime of experience with this and still go into something and be like, what the fuck just happened?
Right? Right? Exactly. You just never know. So I am cautious. I take my time. When I work with clients, I really interview them and vet them. There were things after our experience together that I'm like, I kind of wish I had thought of to ask you, but I wasn't treating you like a client. I was treating you more like a friend.
Sure.
You know?
Of course, yeah.
And so that's kind of my whole spiel.